Another one that I thought that I would share with you is a definition of ethnocentrism, which is relevant for today because we've seen with the refugee crisis in Europe and all the stuff that's going on all over the Western European and European descended countries, white people promoting white ethnocentrism and European ethnocentrism again, after 60 years of that being exceedingly taboo, and the regime basically having carte blanche to try to destroy these countries with immigration and everything else, immigration and degeneracy. But this is important because this definition of ethnocentrism, I think, is basically the one that comes up and is directly linked to this definition of racism that came before. So this guy named Murdoch in 1949 says that ethnocentrism is the tendency to exalt the in-group and to depreciate other groups. And the writers here of this text note that pretty much every culture on earth is ethnocentric. Every culture on earth thinks that it's better or that it's the best, and it goes around saying it's the best. The only cultures that don't go around saying they're the best are like mortally wounded, spiritually damaged cultures, like modern German culture and probably modern British culture, which go out of their way in order to promote every bizarre immigrant culture that's being drawn in by the oligarchs from all over the world, and at the same time being forced to apologize for stuff that happened 200 years ago or 70 years ago or whatever it happens to be. So they're wrong, actually, when they say that everybody's ethnocentric. That's no longer true. I guess Murdoch couldn't see that in 1949 because the social programming wasn't far enough along. But what I really wanted to mention is that there's two kinds of ethnocentrism, and let's think about it in terms of the family. So, do you love your family because you think that your family is the smartest, strongest, most powerful, most moral people that ever existed? Or do you love your family because you've spent a lot of time with them, and you were born there, and they raised you, and that you've shared a lot of intimate experiences, and you can communicate with your family in ways that you can't communicate with strangers because you've got a shared language that can only be developed over the course of your actual life? You can read a book about people in Russia, but you can probably never become a Russian if you weren't born into a Russian family. There will just always be something missing. Maybe if you live with people for 10 years or something, you can like kind of develop the family connection, but probably it will never be as deep as the family and the culture that you were born into if you were raised up in it for, let's say, the first 20 years of your life. You will always have a connection to that kind of people. So what I think the critics of the ethno-nationalists get wrong, and perhaps purposefully, they get this wrong on purpose, is that they want to say that ethno-nationalist people are filled with hate and supremacy, that the ethno-nationalist is a supremacist, is an ethnic supremacist by the nature of it. And I think for some people it's true. It has to be admitted that there are some people who are ethnic supremacists out of hatred, and they want to grind all the other races and ethnic groups of the world under their feet. But I would suggest to you that there is a saner and better way to approach this, where we all simply admit that we're not better than anyone else, but we love our family and we love our people, whatever your people are, my people, your people, whoever we're talking about. But you love your people like your family, that your people, that your nation, that your ethnic group are your extended family. And that just like any family, we have arguments and we have disagreements, but we share something, a language, a history, genetic material. We share all this stuff, and that is important and that is valuable. And it's not about being the best. I hope that this made sense to you. And it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, that you probably think about too, if you've got any interest in this material. Just because you want to promote the interests of your own people doesn't mean that you're necessarily a supremacist. But unfortunately, these people have linked it in this text, and Murdoch linked it in this text, and it's misfortunate. Thank you for your time.